ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome from WSG Community of Practice. We are about to start our events in 5 minutes, so might invite you to your seats. And can I also remind everyone to turn your mobile phones to silent mode, please. I hope you're enjoying the cozy setting that we especially arranged for you today to meet new friends and old friends, to sit around. So please get to know the people at your same table. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Chloe, and it's my pleasure to be your MC for today. On behalf of WSG, I would like to welcome all of you for today's Community of Practice, getting ready for the future of work, building wellness into 21st century workforce. As career professionals, different situations faced by our clients can sometimes overwhelm us. So managing our stress level is key to maintaining a healthy mind and staying motivated and engaged and productive at work. So today we're also doing a live streaming. So do join me to say hi to our virtual participants who are joining us from everywhere. Yes. So at our COP today, we are delighted to have two career practitioners, Gina and Christine, who will be sharing with us their ways of managing work-life integration. We are also honored to have Dr. John Lim, President of Singapore Counselling Centre, to share on some tips on stress management and self-care. To begin, I would like to invite Ms. Ling Ng, Group Director of Careers Connect Group, Workforce Singapore, to speak a few words. Lin, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Today is Friday evening. You could have many other ways to spend your time, but you have chosen to attend this COP, which really goes to show how passionate you are for this sector and for the issues that we're going to talk about. So I'm with friends, amongst friends. Today we're going to come together as a community. So there is some of you are my colleagues in WSG, but there really are no ranks today, no hierarchy. We are going to talk as people who are passionate about this sector and as people in the community. So I'll keep this very informal. Well, this is our third community of practice, okay, for the career professionals community. We are very, very privileged to be able to hold 3 this year. And now, what has happened in the last 2 months? Some of you will remember 2 months ago, we held our inaugural Career Practitioners Conference, okay, in the MBS Convention Center. And that conference brought together thought leaders in the world, okay, thought leaders who are in this field of career development, and they shared their experience and best practices with many of us. The conference was very well received, and we were very encouraged, okay, by the feedback that was given to us. And many of you have shared that you were very touched, okay, that there was a dedicated conference organized for the community. So we have taken on board that feedback, and we will continue to review and see whether we can do another one for you and do it as soon as possible. But we will also count on you for your strong support. Now, since that event, during the conference, we launched the Career Development Framework, the WSG Career Development Framework. And we also opened applications for the WSG Career Development Framework credentials. And the application so far has seen a very strong response as well. We are very heartened by the support from stakeholders like MOE, okay, and the ministry has committed to sending many of their ECG counselors to apply for these credentials. Now, besides the conference, the rollout of the framework, we've also been actively rolling out training programs to help the community who are looking to upgrade their skills and knowledge. So, if you know what the Career Development Framework is about, it's basically a set of competencies that also get packaged into recommended training courses. And these training courses, together with your complementary work experiences, will then enable you to apply for the credentials. Now, at the entry level of the Career Development Framework is this Career Advisory Program, okay, which we launched in July 2018. To date, we have about 83 career professionals who have completed the program. So 83 have gone through the basic entry level of career advisory program. That is a very high number, considering that our community is not a very big community. Now, the next level from the career advisory program is the Advanced Certificate in Career Development Facilitation, ACCDF. Some of you already have gone through that program. Now, with that program, once completed, you can also start to apply for the Certified Career Practitioner credential. And since April 2018, we have had 35 participants who have completed that program. Now, so the career development framework has 4 levels of credentials. So accordingly, we also have 4 types of courses which will roll out. So 2 have already been rolled out this year. In 2019, we will aim to roll out the next level, which is the career supervision program. And this is for career clinical supervisors. Okay, so we will aim to roll that out. And if we have your support, and if we can pull the trainers together and the curriculum together, we aim to roll out the highest level, which is the career management program, next year or the year after. So that is still work in progress. Now, so I hope you can have a sense that we are really committed to helping the community, and we do our very best to develop new initiatives to build up the capabilities for the community. We will do whatever we can, and we welcome suggestions and feedback from you on what else we can do. So today, the COP is another initiative on our part, but this time, the initiative is completely community-driven. Okay. As organizers, we only provide the logistics support, and we only provide refreshments later on. But the real contents, the real knowledge, and the real sharing is going to come from amongst yourselves. Okay, so I'm very grateful to the speakers who have taken time off to their busy schedule to come and join us and share with us today. Thank you very much, John, Gina, and Christine. Now, today's COP topic is on building wellness into the 21st century workplace. Now, I'm sure many of us can resonate with this topic. It's very important for us, for the workforce, to have a healthy mind at work. And in fact, in other countries, mental wellness at the workplace is gaining mind share. And in some countries like Australia, it is actually legislated, okay, for employers to ensure that there are rigorous programs put in place to help the employees. Now, I want to thank Dr. John, who is the president of the Singapore Counselling Centre and Academy of Certified Counsellors, for opening our talk later on. So I wish everyone an engaging and insightful time for this evening's COP, and please relax and ask as many questions and exchange, okay, and contribute exchanges to this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn, for your sharing. Please take a seat. As Lynn has correctly shared, okay, it's going to be a very exciting year for the career professionals. Hence, it's very important to have a healthy mind, a healthy body. Okay, because it's very important to manage stress so that we are able to stay motivated, engaged, and productive at work. So our COP today, we are delighted to have 2 career practitioners, Ms. Gina and Ms. Christine, who will be sharing with us on managing work-life integration, and also Dr. John Lim, President of Singapore Counselling Centre, to share some stress management and self-care. So, before I start the next segment, can you share with me, has anyone been to our WSG COP before? Yes, so please look around at those who put up their hands. These are the people whose help you may need later. Okay, similar to the June COP, we are using Glister Live, an interactive audience engagement software for our session. So before I run through Glister, some of us may need to log on to the Wi-Fi. So you may log on to the Wi-Fi at LLI guest, and the password is LLI 408601. Okay, so could you take out your phone now? Okay, so if you need the Wi-Fi, please do log on to your Wi-Fi, because we'll be using our phone in the segment shortly. Okay, so if you are logged on, can I get you to kindly go to this website? Okay, or you can also scan the QR code. So for those of us who are, for our virtual participants, please do join us at the second link, glisterlive/WSG COP 2018-1026. So if you require any help, please do put up your hands. My colleagues will be there to assist you. Okay, so for those of us here, please go to the first link, okay, or you can scan the QR code. If you are successfully logged in, you'll be seeing a site that will be asking you for your email address. So please enter your email address to join as audience. Okay? So don't be shy. If you need help, please do put up your hands. My colleague is at the back, all ready to help you. Okay, if once you have successfully entered the site, you'll be prompted to enter your email address. Okay, anyone has any questions? Any problems? Okay. Okay, so this is the site that you will be seeing if you have successfully entered the link. So do enter your email address. Okay, let's have a look. How many of us have successfully logged in as audience for the presentation? Okay, so let's give the rest a little bit more time. Is anyone unable to log in or unable to access the site? Please put up your hand. Yes, does anyone need any help? Okay, if you have logged in successfully, this is the site that you'll be seeing. Let me do a quick tour around Glister for you. Okay, there will be 4 icons that we'll be using today. The first icon is the first one that looks like a bubble. That's the one that we'll be using very often today because that's the one for you to post question. There's a Q&A session at the end of each speaker, so please do keep your question coming by tapping on this bubble tab. The next icon that you will see will be the one with the 4 tiles. Okay, that will give you an overview of the presentation slides that has been shared. So you are able to take down notes based using this pencil icon. So if you were to click on the pencil icon, you'll be able to doodle and write your own notes next to the slide. And if you really like the slides that the speakers have shared, please do click on the like button. Any questions so far? Okay. So we'll start the sharing by our career practitioner, a new segment that we add for today's session so that we can learn from our fellow practitioners. So first we'll have Ms. Gina To, Education and Career Guidance Counselor from Ministry of Education. Gina joined MOE 3 years ago as the Education and Career Guidance Counselor deployed to Republic Poly. She has 12 years of professional experience working in the various educational settings, working with youth and adolescents in the area of mental health counseling, special needs counseling, as well as ECG counseling. In her work as an ECG counselor, Gina strives to empower individuals who desire to make a change in their life. To her, finding a dream job is not impossible. It's all about knowing yourself, believing in yourself, and following your heart. So ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our first career practitioner, Miss Gina Toh, on stage. Miss Gina, please.
Thanks. Hi, good evening, everyone. It's really happy to be here, to join everyone here for this COP. Thanks to WSG for having me here. Today I'm going to just share about building wellness in the workplace. And I'm sure many people are very curious about the work of an ECG counselor, which before I talk about work stress, I want to just bring everyone through to a glimpse of the ECG counselor's work at the PSEI. PSEI means to say is Post-Secondary Education Institution, which refers to ITE and the Polys. Myself, I'm based at the Polys, and in the Polys, there is a team of 6 ECG counselors providing support to 1 or 2 academic schools. When I say academic schools, it's equivalent to what you call faculties in the universities. So we do provide support to the ACAP schools in terms of individual group career counseling. We also run workshops for students such as interest profiling, resume writing, interviewing skills workshop. We train the lecturers on basic career advisement skills so that they have the knowledge and the skills to be able to provide basic career advisement to our students. As a team, we do run campus-wide programs such as career fair, open house. We also do Skills Future Fiesta. And we conduct needs analysis, which is for us to measure the effectiveness of our ECG services, our programs, as well as to help us design future programs that better meet the needs of our students. Okay? So without this task that the ECG counselors have to perform, we need to work closely with our internal as well as our external stakeholders. We need to be able to manage expectations, to be able to work effectively with them. And one of the roles that we do not we don't do job placement. We do guide students on job-seeking skills, and if students need to find job, we will refer them to WSG Career Center. Okay? I'm a rather boring person, so I don't have many exciting strategies to share with everyone. But I want to say that the 5 strategies, which I'm going to share with you shortly, have motivated and sustained me throughout my career journey. Expressing gratitude. I think that it actually helps me to set the tone for the day. Okay? Having been through many storms in my life, I learned to appreciate what I have. I'm thankful that I have a job, because not having a job is indeed more stressful. Not having a job means no income, you have to pay bills, you still have to buy basic necessities. So no matter how stressful I can feel, in a day, I like to express that gratitude that, I still have a job, right? I believe that people are seasons of our life. And whatever experiences, be it positive or negative experiences, the people I've met, I felt that they have actually helped to make me grow and become a better person. I like to say that good days give happiness, bad days give experiences, worse days give lessons. Okay? Now, in any workplace, right, there'll be changes. People enter the organization, and it requires adjustment and adaptation. So being open-minded to embracing new experiences actually helps me to be able to manage change better. Okay. Finding meaning in my work is my second personal strategies. Stephen Hawking has this very meaningful quotation. He says that work gives you meaning and purpose, and life is empty without it. Right. To me, work is not just a paycheck. I see meaning, I see a purpose in what I'm doing. It aligns to my personal values of wanting to help people. Okay? And I do find a lot of joy in my work. I work with 17, 18-year-old poly students who have no formal work experience, and many of them are lost. They do not know what to expect in their future careers. And it's very fulfilling to be able to work with young people, to be able to help them in career planning, as well as to provide guidance to them as to what to do next after poly. Okay. In my career journey, there has been times when I felt stuck, I felt trapped. And what I did is, I always like to revisit the reason why I joined this career. And it does help me to connect to my initial meaning of what's the meaning that this work is giving me. Okay? Instead of caught up in the rat race, I prefer to run my own race. Okay? A lot of times we put ourselves under pressures by trying to keep up with other races. But there will always be people who are better than us, who run faster than us. And rather than comparing myself with them, I'd rather choose to focus on areas, on weaknesses that I can strengthen and work on. Okay? Expectations are self-imposed stress, and as career practitioners, managing our expectations of self and clients are important. I know that, as career practitioners, we feel a lot for our clients, but I do not see myself taking on a rescuer role, but rather I know that as I journey with my clients, that they are to take full responsibility of their actions. And not having to be expert at everything doesn't make me worthless, because I know that there's a limit to my professional competence. And in this journey, I'm not alone. I can always tap on resources within the schools and outside the school system to support the students. Okay. Develop good relationships is my fourth personal strategies. And I want to invite everyone to watch this video. This is a very heart-touching video. Do you like this video? Yes, I thought it's very heart-touching, yeah? Now, developing good relationship is important. I think as career practitioners, right, while we give help to people, we also need to receive support from our families, from our friends, and even from our colleagues. I like to say that in a workplace, it's often very competitive, but instead of seeing each other as competitors, we are actually there to live, encourage, and support each other, right? And of course, in the workplace, there's bound to be conflicts, but sometimes it's good to just laugh it off. We don't have to take ourselves too seriously. And I also like to remind myself that I'm not a perfect being, so I also shouldn't expect others to be perfect as well. Good relationships will actually be a buffer for us in managing our stress. We knowing that there'll be someone out there for us to share joy, for us to share feelings of frustrations, for us to have lunch with, for us to, gossip, for us, knowing that someone will just be there for us. Okay. Now, this is my last slide. Although in my RISAC profile, I'm fairly high in my S, I'm an introvert. So to me, solitude and quiet time are very precious to me. I like to take time away from people just to have quiet time for reflections. And I do meditations in the morning and before I go to bed just to clear my mind and at the same time, to help me make sense of my life, make sense of the day. Okay? Researchers has actually states that 5 minutes of solitude actually helps to deactivate stress and calm our emotions. So during the weekends, I'll be very early at the park when there are not many people around, just to be with nature. I enjoy listening to the sound of nature because it's very calm and very therapeutic. Okay? In these slides, I've shared some resources. If you're interested, you can always pick them out at the store. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And for those who love for nice pictures, right? These two books are by the National Geographic. They do have very stunning pictures with quotations. Okay. Wish everyone a happy weekend. Thanks for being here with me.
Thank you, Gina, for your sharing. It's indeed a very timely reminder for all of us that we're all running our own race, and a timely reminder for us to be very thankful for all that we have, the people we meet, the experiences that we have, whether it's positive or negative. So, let's see what questions the audience have for you during the Q&A session. So while waiting for the questions to be shown on screen, it's already ready.
Hope it's nothing too difficult for me.
Yes, the first question that they have is, what is the most common cause for stress for ECG counselors?
I see. Most common cause of stress, as I have shared in my first slide, we do have to work with multiple stakeholders, be internal or external. So managing expectations of stakeholders and getting support, buy-in from the stakeholders are not easy. Stakeholders include, our management, include some parents, include our students, include our own internal academic staff. Okay.
Yes, it's indeed a source of stress when we need to meet the expectations of our stakeholders, and I think your tips just now was useful in managing the expectations. So the second question, how do you manage uncomfortable questions that students ask?
I'm not sure what you meant by uncomfortable questions. Because, my areas of work is mainly dealing with education career guidance. I'm not dealing with social emotional issues. I had worked as a social emotional counselor before, and yes, I had uncomfortable questions before, but I think as ECG counselors, we get more direct questions as what kind of further studies I should go for, what kind of career options I have. Yeah, pretty safe questions.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes.
not very fond of typing on
Sure.
my phone. So can I ask you a question?
Sure, certainly, my
Yeah,
pleasure.
to you on this. You know, you just mentioned about running your own race. That's very interesting. So my question to you, Gina, is how do you go about setting the goals? What's the process you sort of adopt to sort of set the goals to make sure that the race you run is, you know, meaningful?
Yes. The race I run is my own race. It has to ties back to the meaning it gives to my work, the purpose I see. Okay. Everyone have their own definitions of what gives meaning in their work. To me, a work that gives meaning includes something that I can derive meaning from, that I see a connection to my life purpose, and if that is in alignment to what I'm doing, I feel that, okay, I am actually running my own race without having to be, how should I put it, without having to be conscious of what other races, other people are doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you, Gina. Let's take in one last question for you. It's difficult not to feel stressed when there are KPIs to meet. So how do you handle this?
Okay. Yes, definitely there are KPIs, okay? And again, yes, stress is inevitable, yeah. But it's a matter of how we manage that stress, okay? We also have to know the limits of our own limitations, as well as, okay, in a sense that, okay, if we know that we don't have certain strengths or certain competence, then there's also no need for us to take on too much, jobs or other areas of work, which we think we might not be able to manage. Am I answered that questions?
Are you happy with Gina's answer? Yes. Okay, so maybe, shall we, because there are more questions coming in, do we still have time for one more? So maybe, Gina, let's take one more question. So among the last two, take your pick. Which one would you like to answer?
Okay, maybe I'll just answer, what is the typical challenge of students and RP, okay? For the year ones, right, some of them are not in a course of their choice. So typically, they do not see a connection to what they're doing. And that's why the role of the ECG counselors is to help them make sense of the course they're doing and how does that actually align, to their future careers. For the year 3, some of them have not actually thought of what they want to do after graduation. So typically, if I look at some of the ECG needs of the students, most of them at 17, 18 years old, right? As I said, they do not have formal work experience. They do not know what to expect. And being millennials, most of them perhaps have a different perception of what they want in their life. And most of them, do see careers differently. They see a purpose of work differently. Okay.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you for sharing with us about us running our own race and also how students are actually different from working adults and the different challenges that they have. So thank you, Gina, for joining us today. Please take a seat. In our next segment, we are going to invite our second career practitioner of the day, Miss Christine Gan, Principal Career Coach from WSG Careers Connect. Christine has more than 8 years of headhunting experience and is currently a Principal Career Coach at WSG Careers Connect. She has been a career coach for the last 3 years, assisting people from all walks of life in identifying and fulfilling their career goals. Christine also volunteers as a marriage counselor and a premarital counselor. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our second career practitioner, Miss Christine Gan, please.
Testing.
Yeah, can already. All right, great. Wonderful. Okay, I have to admit, when I was actually asked to share on the topic of self-care tonight, I was somewhat flabbergasted. I was thinking, do I really look like someone who takes care of myself? Then, as I was having my weekly session of food reflexology last week, I was sitting down there, I was thinking, actually I do. I do take a lot of measures to ensure that I don't get burnt out. Now, before I talk about how I take care of myself, the 3 faculties of my self-care, let me just share with you a very short story. It's the Starfish Story. Okay, once upon a time, there was a man walking along the beach. As he was walking along the beach, he saw a little boy busy throwing starfish back into the ocean. He walked up to him and he said, "Hey boy, what are you doing?" The boy looked at him and said, "The sun is coming up and the tide is going out. I'm throwing the starfish back into the ocean. If I don't do anything, they will all die." And then the man laughed to himself and he said, "Boy, there's so many starfish around you. What difference are you going to make?" The boy looked at him for a while. He bent down, he picked up another starfish, he threw it back into the ocean. And then he looked at the man and said, "See, I made a difference." Now, I'm sure every one of us feel like, the world is rushing at us every day. We feel like there's just so many starfish for us to throw back every day. But like what this story says, by helping one person at a time, I have made a difference. And this, essentially, is the basis of my self-care. Then you'll be asking, how do I actually ensure that, I have enough to help someone on a daily basis? Okay. I do ensure that I take steps to not run on empty. I'm sure many of you here sitting here today is in a helping profession. What this means is we're perpetually pouring out. We're pouring out to fill someone else's life. If we're not careful, what will happen? It'll be like this flask. It's going to be empty. And if we're empty, do we have anything else to pour? No. We'll be running on empty, right? That's what it means. So what do I do to ensure that that doesn't happen to me? I call this the 3 faculties of my self-care. It's seemingly simple. It's my mental health, my emotional health, and my physical health. Okay. The mental health. I actually have a very simple formula to it. 2N equals 2H. What does this mean? Okay. 2N. The 2N actually stands for nothing box and new hobby. The H stands for happiness. What's the nothing box then? Okay. I'm not too sure about you, but I like to compartmentalize my things in my life. I have a box for my family. I have a box for my kids' school homework. I have a box for my clients. I have a box for my church events. I have a box for virtually everything. But there's a box that I call the nothing box, and this box is sacred. Nobody disturbs me when I'm in this box. It just means that, like what Gina says, it's my time of solitude. And I do it best, actually, when I'm in front of a TV. And the TV cannot be showing any program. It's what I call, for me, it's what I call intelligent shows. Intelligent shows like Sherlock Holmes, Limitless, or Elementary. Now, why? Why do I actually like to watch shows like this? These are shows that actually think for me. So in essence, it allows me to just zone out. It allows me to just really take a back seat and allow the program to think for me instead of me perpetually thinking. So this is what I call the nothing box. Perhaps, for you, it could be like a walk in the park to appreciate the greenery, like Gina. But for me, it's really zoning out in front of the television. Now, the next N stands for a new hobby. If you don't know, learning something new actually releases happy chemicals. Yeah? Chemicals like serotonin and endorphin. How does this work? I like to pick up new skills, or rather new instruments. Well, when I was 38, I actually picked up how to learn the cello. Right now, I'm learning how to play the guitar. It doesn't have to be, huge successes. In fact, I celebrate my little successes, like, learning a little bit, learning like, a piece that's a little bit tougher, being able to strum in a different way. I cherish these little moments, these little successes, and when this happens, it releases the happy chemicals. Yeah? Okay. Someone is like flashing the time at me, so. Okay, now my next faculty, emotional health. I have a very simple way of doing this. Talk, pray, and be merry. I'm an extrovert, and I like to talk about things. When I talk about things, it's like an outlet for me to release, and that way I don't bottle up. I think it's very important that when we have when people share with us their baggage, when people share with us their problems, we need to find an outlet that allows us to talk it out. And I do this a lot, with my closest colleagues. My friends, and especially my family members. I mean, my spouse gets the most of it. Yeah. And I'm sure all of us know that, we're not God. We can't do everything. Some things are completely impossible and completely out of our hands. So for me, I pray. Yeah, I spend time praying, not just for myself, but for my clients, because at the end of the day, my role is really to help them, and it's when it's beyond me, that's when I really leave it to God, the Almighty. Yeah, and this is where I really find my happiness in. The third faculty, this is my physical health. So what do I do to ensure that I take care of my physical health? I run. It's as simple as that. But in the process of running, I do a lot of things. Yeah. I know that I broke it up into an acronym, but in essence, this is really what I fulfill during my run, when I need to take time out for myself. I actually reflect, I reconcile, I recalibrate, and then I recharge. What does this mean? When I run, it allows me to actually think through the day, what happened, what could be done better. It allows me to actually recalibrate, on what I could, how I could actually do it better the next day. And it allows me to recharge as well, because some things are, as I said earlier on, some things are beyond us. And I think it's very important for us to take a back seat sometimes and accept the inevitable. Yeah, and when we actually sit down and accept things that we can't change, it allows us to move on to things that we can change. And that itself allows me to recharge. Yeah? And the U actually stands for the unification part, and the part that makes me feel like, hey, forget about the things that I can't make a difference. Let's just move on to things that I can make a difference. And that itself gives me some form of satisfaction. And with that thought in mind, it helps me navigate better as well. It helps me have a better perspective from a different angle, and I can see things a lot clearer. Now, actually my presentation is really short, and I just want to leave you with this very last saying. Just do remember that it's not selfish to love yourself, to take care of yourself, and to make your happiness a priority. It's a necessity. If you look at what I've got to share today, taking care of yourself doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a really costly vacation every year. It doesn't even have to be my costly foot reflexology. But at the end of the day, it's really about taking care of the little things in your life, to spend time, to recalibrate for yourself. Yeah, that matters most. Okay, with that, I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Christine, for your sharing. A very unique formula that you have shared with us, 2n equals to h. It also got me thinking, hey, is it time for me to start having a new hobby, like maybe abseiling? I'm not sure. Yes, and also I also like the fact you shared about by helping one person at a time, I make a difference. I think it's time for us to give ourselves a little self-affirmation, the little change that we may be making, but we do make a difference. I think it's a very good reminder for the work that we are doing. So let's see what are some questions that the audience have for you. Okay, the first question, how do you deal with the disappointment when you can't help your client get a job?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier on, we cannot help the whole world. And I think it's really important for us, to prioritize. Not that, you're going to leave the individual, or you're going to abandon that individual whom you can't help. But I think it's very important for us to remember that we have to prioritize. That's number one. And number two, we also have to make it known to the person whom we can't help that there are other resources out there. Yeah, you can't do everything. Yeah.
Yes. Let's look at the next question. How do you be empathetic and yet not be too emotional and tangled with the client's problem? I think this is something that many of us are facing and would like to learn. How do we actually do that?
Okay. I must admit. Oops. Oh, okay. Okay. I must admit that there's a lot of echo. Forget it. I already turned it off. Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. I'm a woman, so naturally I will have some form of emotional attachment to some of my clients. In fact, a large number of my clients are suffering from depression. Some of them also admitted that they are on the brink of suicide. I do feel, and I also have to remind myself that at the end of the day, I can only do this much. I will also remind myself that I need to guide the individual to seek external help when it's actually beyond me. At the end of the day, again, I think we need to go back to the box that says, this is really not within our hands, and we really have to move on. Yeah, this is how I emotionally detach myself at the end of the day.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, I think it takes a lot of great wisdom to know when to hang on and when to let go. Mm-hmm. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressful is your job? Do you find it harder and harder to manage the stress?
Okay, this is a very tough question because I usually tell people this is not a stressful job. The reason why I say it's not a stressful job is because, like I mentioned earlier on, I learned how to compartmentalize my work. And with that compartmentalizing a tool, I learned how to shut the lid when I'm actually done with that particular thought. Of course, I also modernize my thinking process. I no longer shut the lid. I actually do the swipe, like the Iron Man movie. When I'm done with it, I swipe. When I'm done with it, I swipe. And I do have my moments, of space. And this is how I manage the workload at home, at work, and everything else. So at the end of the day, if you're asking me whether it is highly stressful, I would give it a 5. But I think it's really about managing everything in a very holistic manner versus looking at everything in a very single unit. Yeah?
Well, we are very good in managing your stress, but how do you think the organization can support you better to make it 1 out of 10 in terms of stressfulness?
I would definitely love to have spa vouchers.
Okay, I think they hear you. Okay, let's look at the next one. You share about family. Any tip on how you juggle between your family and work?
Okay, I do actually work at home, and I do spend quite some time telecommuting when it's necessary. When the family needs me, I'll be the first to say that family comes first, and I hope everybody actually buys this as well. Work is work, family is on top of everything else. But having said that, I'm a very, very responsible individual, and I'm also a very go-getter, and I think it's very much built in me. And how do I actually ensure that both sides of the world are met? my night is always about the kids first. We always ensure that we have family time together, and dinner is important. It's incredibly important to us because it's where all our kids would share with us, their issues in school and everything else. I will take the time to just sit down and listen to my girl before she goes to bed. I believe in prayer, so every night I will pray with the kids, and this is when my daughter really talks. She will really tell me everything that happens in school, and I will also ensure that I will address all their issues before I go back to my work. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's very important and useful for all the working mom and dads who are with us today. So next question, how do you persuade a 50+ to acquire new skills when they feel that employers are biased against the older workers?
I think first and foremost, they need to know that VIPS. Sitting in this room, I believe most of you are familiar with VIPS, the values, interests, personalities, and strengths. From there, they will understand that learning a new skill is not just for the sake of job. I think it's really important for them to address where they are right now at this juncture before they find their next career. Yeah, this is how I entice them, or rather encourage them to seek something else beyond what they're doing right now, if it's necessary.
Yes, I think we do agree. So lifelong learning is not about progression in career, but also progressing yourself. So any last question for Christine before she ends her session? Okay, if there are no new questions, thank you, Christine, for your very insightful sharing. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, thank you for the sharing by our career practitioners, Gina and Christine. So next, we'll be hearing from our speaker, Dr. John Lim, President from the Singapore Counselling Centre and Academy of Certified Counsellors. Dr. John Lim has more than 20 years of experience in conducting counselling sessions for individuals and couples. He has helped many clients through issues such as depression, stress, suicidal thoughts, and anger management. Dr. Lim has also been invited to many countries to conduct talks on issues related to human services, such as mental wellness and enrichment. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. John Lim, who will be sharing with us on practicing self-care to avoid burnout for a happy career. Dr. John Lim, please.
Thank you very much. Oh, wow. These are my props. There is another, okay, got it, thank you. Well, what a wonderful day it is. Thank you so much for having me here this afternoon. I've been looking forward to that. Thank you, Lynn, Chris, Florence. I was very impressed with what WSG is doing in terms of the help they're rendering to the workforce. And also, I want to appreciate all of you for choosing the helping profession. And you are really very special people because not everyone aspires to help another. And a little bit about myself. Okay, my background. Anyway, I'm the founder and the stakeholder of the Precious Life Group, which comprise of the Academy of Certified Counsellors. We are a private membership organization. We have thousands of members. And we have the ACC Institute of Human Services that's registered with the Committee of Private Education. So we have 3 schools, the School of Counseling and Psychology, whereby we train people to acquire counseling skills. And then we have the School of Special Needs Education, and soon we'll be launching the School of Gerontology and Elder Care. And then we have the Singapore Counselling Centre. We see clients. We have about 10 over professional counsellors, and we see clients on a daily basis. And then I have an interesting brand called the Singapore Emergency Responder Academy. Every year we train more than 10,000 over people on occupational first aid, basic cardiac life support, CPR, AED. Can I know by a show of hand if someone suddenly grabbed the chest and fall to the ground? Any one of you know what to do? Anyone? Oh, just one. What would you do? Huh? Precisely, that's the answer. Let's give a round of applause. But if you are trained in CPR and AED, okay, you can vastly increase the chance, all right, of that person's survival. All right, it's been proven so. So in any case, this is my Photoshop photo. I'm also a deputy marriage registrar. So every other week, I'm solemnizing some couple. So if you're looking for a wedding solemnizer, you can touch base with me, okay? But John, I don't have the opportunity yet. Well, I am launching. I've completed the beta version of my dating agency. So you know who to look for, okay? So in any case, oh, I've gone ahead. Okay. So the topic for us today, why you need to care for yourself first, self-care, and how to prevent burnout. And every single day, we're faced with many demands placed upon us. And it seems to be accelerating for many people. Not long ago, Channel News Asia asked me to go to the studio to discuss on anger management. And the question was, are Singaporeans getting angrier? What do you think? Yes. Yeah, there was such a topic. So, and it is very important when we help others, it is very important and be very mindful. We need to care for ourselves. There are a few reasons why, all right? But the key reason is because we need to be effective to help others. Because we've been taught that when we help others, we cannot be self-centric. We cannot be selfish. We have to put others first. But I want you to know, if you care for yourself, you are in a way putting others first. You are enabling yourself to be a lot more effective to help someone. Now, how many of you, I'm sure of us, we've taken a flight before. And the flight attendants would often make this announcement. In case of an unlikely emergency, put on your oxygen mask first before you help others. Now, this is a very important rule for survival in case of an unlikely emergency. Because if you run out of oxygen, you cannot help anyone else with their oxygen mask. This is fundamental and it's very important. Is there anyone here who is a trained lifeguard? Anyone? Okay. Now, as a lifeguard, if you are gasping for air, you're not going to save that person at all whatsoever. So lifeguards are trained very well how to pace themselves, all right, how to improve their fitness. And the sole reason being so that they can help someone and rescue someone. Likewise, for all of us who are in the helping profession, it is important you have to take care of yourself, to practice self-care, even on a daily basis. Now, I attended a program called the Tactical Combat Casualty Care. So I joined a group of people in Bangkok. They came from different countries, and I was the only business person there. The rest are from the forces, including from Hong Kong, the Special Tactical Force. Okay, so we are trained how you can rescue someone in an actual combat field. So the key thing is that I learned, you have to stop your own bleeding before you rescue others. So we are trained to fire the Glock and the semi-machine gun. So the coach will suddenly, you will go there, you start shooting at the target. Okay, they say, suddenly they shout, you are now being shot on your right arm. Okay, what do? You put the handgun to the floor, you tourniquet the arm that is bleeding first. And then you pick up the handgun with the other hand and start shooting again. So this is very, very important, all right? Because as tactical combat casualty care specialists, they have to put themselves first. They have to be very mindful in this particular aspect, okay? Why do you do that? Someone asks you, Miss National Service, okay, it's just for fun, all right? So it's part of my relaxation thing that I do to do something that is not usual. Okay, so we are faced with stress. Okay, demands placed upon us, and there are positive stress and there are negative stress. Okay, give you an example of positive stress. How many enjoy vacation? Anyone? Okay, very good. And one of the ways the organization can support you is to give more leave, right? Okay, interestingly, Gina shared that she is an introvert and Christine is an extrovert. I am introvertly extrovert and extrovertly introvert in between. Okay, so that's positive stress, because just before vacation, do you notice that you can clear your work very fast? Do you notice that? Huh? So you, nothing is a problem. When your boss was a bit rude to you, it's okay, no issue, no big deal. Now, if you and I can capture just 50% of that, we'll be super performers anyway, if we can do that, even though we're not going for a vacation. But it just shows us that it is possible to operate at a high productive level if our mind is not stressed, if we have something to look forward to, and we tend to up our performance. Now, there is a difference between stress and burnout. Stress refers to a mental or emotional state wherein a person encounters tension due to adverse conditions. Now, a psychologist by the name of Richard Lazarus said, stress is a condition of feeling experience when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources the individual is able to mobilize. And when we feel that that issue, that situation is beyond our experiences, beyond our fortitude and resilience, beyond our logical reasoning to figure things out, we can feel really stressed. Okay? And we experience stress on a daily basis, multi-factors. Now, what is burnout? Burnout is a situation, that's what the picture meant, you are burned out. It's a condition which results from prolonged exposure to stress. It leads to exhaustion of mental or emotional strength. It happens to the best person. And if you have a very strong personality, dominating, if you're not careful, you are a very easy candidate for burnout. I'll come back to this later on. Okay, let's look at certain definitions of burnout by certain psychologists. All right, number one, it's a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion caused by long-term involvement in emotionally demanding situations. Then, according to Herbert Freudenberger, I feel hungry pronouncing the. You feel that way also? Okay. It is a state of fatigue or frustration. Fatigue and frustration. In other words, there's always a constant vexation of the heart, brought about by devotion to a cause, a way of life, or relationship that fail to produce the expected reward. You have put so much in. You are so invested into the job, the career, the business, the relationship. And then at the end of the day, in spite of you trying your best and doing your best, you did not receive the expected reward. You can suffer a burnout. Okay? In my line of work, I have the privilege to be involved in many spheres. All right, in business, I was the chairman of a public listed company before, etc. Okay, I'm involved in the missions work, church work. I'm involved in, in many spheres. Okay, and I noticed that the problems of people are mainly in two areas, two key areas. If you and I can master these two areas in an ever-increasing measure, all right, a lot of our stress and misdirection of energy will be greatly reduced. People problems, all right, the problems of people can be compartmentalized in the two areas. Now, the power of compartmentalization is important. I like to share the illustration of a submarine. All right, if you look at the construct of a submarine, it's most interesting. All right, I've been on board one before when they call on Singapore. Okay, so I noticed you can get claustrophobic in a submarine. Okay, though I'm not so huge. Okay, and you find that when a fire broke out in a area, okay, they have doors to shut and contain that fire. In other words, it does not spread into another compartment, and they can focus to extinguish the fire out. And this is something we must really practice. It's very powerful practice. All right? So what happens to your job, your career, what happens during the day when you go to work, you must do your best not to bring it home. Not easy, but with practice, it can be done. And likewise, when you come to work, you cannot have your mother-in-law sitting on your shoulders. Okay? You need to compartmentalize that. It's a powerful practice. So back to this. So there's two key areas that people are very often stressed in. All right? It gives rise to other areas like poor health, etc. And how many can guess? The problems of people are, can be put into two key areas. Anyone? Just guess. All right? Okay. One is money. Financial problems, financial issues. Constant expenditure beyond one's ability to earn puts that person into great stress and eventually burnout also. All right? Of course, this will give rise to other issues because a lot of divorces have their roots in financial challenges, the pressure, etc. Okay? So if you and I can master financial management, okay, like the sharing by our two esteemed speakers, you run your own race. You don't compare to others. You don't feel inferior, ladies, when someone carry a nice handbag. What? Like what? Louis Vuitton? A branded one or what? Like, By the way, everything is branded now. There's always a brand. Giant plastic bag is also a brand. All right? If you get the bag, it's just for yourself. Right? So your financial management is important. Okay? So if you have a car, you get the brand because you enjoy it. It's not for others to look at you so enviously and then you're suffering every month paying the... Don't do that. All right, if you go to the scrap yard in Tuas, all right, I went there once to look for some things. My friend brought me there. I saw Mercedes-Benz. I saw BMW. I saw all kinds of brands there. And when I look at it, I see, all right, how many of these, owners, all right, as a result of that lifestyle they chose when they are not in their earning capacity, have resulted in so much stress in the family, etc. Because all end up in the scrapyard. Okay, so your financial management sense must be very, very sound. It is very important. Okay, so how many can guess what's the next area that people has a lot of problems in? Huh? Okay, you're correct, but I classified relationships. Because these two, and health is a major area as well. Because these two areas do impact someone's health. And when someone is sick, of course, it impacts their finances as well as their relationship. All right, so there could be this third area. So in the area of relationship, we must be very mindful. All right, especially who you fall in love with. Okay, if not 10 years later, you're still singing the song 忘不了. Okay, and you're not going to be so functional. Okay, so we need to manage, all right, the stress level, certain thoughts in our mind, and make certain adjustments and adaptations in order for us to be functional. Okay, it is very important for all of us to make it a point to work on our functionality. And I've noticed people, regardless of their age group, even people in their 20s, 30s, they are not so functional because of certain thoughts, certain experiences, and certain trauma, disappointments that they may have experienced. Okay, so it is important that all of us be functional. Now, when you are advanced in age, I can see so many young people here, all of us are so young. Okay, when you are, let's say, elderly, in whatever definition of the word, all right, do you see yourself receiving care from others? Beginning right now, you have to work towards, you see yourself as giving care to others. You are a caregiver, not a receiver. It makes a lot of difference. And if you think that way, you will protect your mental health. You will look at your diet. You will exercise more regularly. Why? Because you and I, we want to be functional. Okay. What are the causes of burnout? Okay, there's three key causes of burnout. Number one, career-related causes. If you're involved in continuous, monotonous, and boring work, Surprisingly, it can cause you to be stressed. I know of companies when they want that person to resign. They take a lot of work. Either they overload that person or let them do the most boring work. Eventually, tak boleh tahan, they throw in the towel. Okay? And or consistent failure to meet KPIs. There was a question earlier on, how not to be stressed when you don't meet the KPIs. Well, if the KPIs are not too realistic, do have a discussion with your immediate superior, etc. Actually, as far as KPIs are concerned, all right, it all can be met, no matter what is said. Okay? And the reason why KPIs are not met, because many organizations and many individuals often underestimate the kind of energy, resources that are needed to make things happen. All right, and you need to take a lot of massive action, and this can cause a lot more stress. So it's like a triangle, all right, whether it is your revenue, the KPIs. So if you want to have bigger results, in other words, a bigger triangle, you need to increase the base, all right? And the base speaks of many areas, more talented, gifted, and committed people, all right? That's one. You may have to look at your marketing, your A&P, etc., and other areas, okay? Inability to cope with demands and changes, toxic and chaotic work environment, unreasonable workload and responsibilities, okay? I know a number of you feel you resonate with the last one, unreasonable. Huh? We're supposed, do you work 44 hours a week? Huh? Around there? More than that. How many days of leave do you have every year? On the average, anyone? 14? How many got more than 14 days? Wow. Okay, how many days do you have? 28. Wow. So nice. Yeah. And then we have a public holidays. Do you work on Saturday and Sundays? Huh? Now, if you look at the total number of days that you need not work, actually, most people don't work for more than 3 over months in a year. That's the fact. You can calculate that. Huh? So I don't think, so we have to look at it in a different perspective. Okay? So career-related causes. The other one is lifestyle-related causes. Overworking with no time for socializing and recreation. So what our first speaker was saying about she spent time in solitude. All right, she liked to be by herself. Okay, what was she? That is part of recreation. So for the extrovert, perhaps, all right, they like to socialize. Okay, but whichever way, we must know what works for you. Okay, recreation is important and it is good. Okay, so in Japan, you find that increasingly there's this issue about overworking, whereby there are Japanese who fell down dead because of overwork. Huh? So far, there's no record of anyone dying in Singapore because of overwork. That's a good sign. We are doing okay. Okay, unable to get a good night's sleep regularly. Okay, I'll come back to this topic on sleep. Thirdly, lack of supporting relationships. All right, and you saw the video. You need to build meaningful relationships. Okay, so if you don't have many friends, okay, you need to start to develop. It takes time. Okay, to have friends, first and foremost, you must show yourself as friendly. Okay, so you take time. And along the way, certain friends may drop off, all right, but you will have new friends, okay? And consistent expenditure above income, okay? That's part of lifestyle issue. And we have a specialist diploma in counseling of gambling addiction. And in the counseling center, we see people with gambling addiction issues. Okay, self-care. Number one, you must practice mindfulness. What is mindfulness? There's many definitions, but my definition is it's a purposeful, conscientious awareness of the intrinsic, what's within, what's going on within, and the extrinsic occurrences. So, in other words, you know what goes through your mind, your thought processes, etc. Okay? You are aware of that. You are aware about the triggers and buttons. That why you lose it, you become very angry. In my younger days, I have anger management issue. Younger days, not too long ago. And I realized as I mature further that I'm an anger management coach as well. And one of the things I always share is this. Don't ever aim that you'll never be ever angry again. You'll get angrier because you will fail badly. Okay, but rather you learn to manage it. And one of the things that you have to be conscious of is the trigger and the button. When people say certain things, certain phrasing, you get very angry, and you have to ask yourself, you have to be mindful, why? Why is that so? These are triggers and buttons. You have to be aware of that. At the moment you can identify them, that marks the beginning of your ability to overcome, the beginning of your victory over those areas. Okay? So self-care is not something you do in spare time or vacation. Oh, boss, I need to take 1 month sabbatical leave. I'm doing self-care. You have to practice this on a daily basis. You have to protect your mind and your heart on a daily basis in your interactions with people. Okay? So it is a disposition, an attitude, or ongoing state of body and mind, Cots and Steiner, 2013. So this is a very good, powerful statement regarding self-care. It is an ongoing basis. So right now, for example, sitting where you are, you have many thoughts going through your mind, things back home, your finances, your job, the demands, etc. Okay? You have to manage that. Okay? When you are in a place, you have to be at the place. And this is where you are mindful and you can gain certain benefits. All right? And we are always learning from each other. Okay? So mindfulness is very important. Very, very important. You cannot prevent the bird from flying over your head, right? But you can prevent it from alighting on your head, build a nest, and raise 5 generations. So certain thoughts, we have to deal with this. I'll come back to this again. Develop good, healthy coping mechanism. Well, what is the coping mechanism? It's actually a form of adaptation that people employ, consciously or unconsciously, all right, to gain control over something or to find some form of psychological comfort. If you don't want to die, not easy to die, all right, because we have tremendous survival instincts. If you want to die, quite easy to die, all right? And if you are burnt out, it is possible even to get certain suicidal thoughts. Okay. So we have to develop good, healthy coping mechanisms. Good, healthy coping mechanisms are those that continuously building us up. All right? And unfortunately, many people unconsciously or consciously develop negative coping mechanisms that has tremendous ramifications somewhere down the line. For example, let's talk about workplace bullying. I was interviewed by the papers before on workplace harassment, bullying, etc. How many of you have been bullied in the workplace before? Can I see your hands? 1, 2. Only 2 of you. The rest are 4, 3. Who else? The rest are bullies. It's been proven. Bullies were once upon a time being bullied. And one day they woke up, they suddenly has this revelation. I want to be the bully instead. I'm sick of tired of being bullied. That's the way, one of the ways they cope with it. And that is quite negative. During my primary school and secondary school days, which is not too long ago to me, and I was a small fella, even right now, vertically challenged. And I came from neighborhood schools, bit rough. There's constant fighting and bullying. So in order to cope with that, there's a few things I did. All right, I worked hard. Okay, I became the class monitor instead, so that I would not be bullied by any of my classmates. Okay, and then that's not enough. The moment I step out of the class, there's certain issues as well. So I worked hard to become a prefect. That's the way I cope with it. So I'm a class monitor. When I step up, I'm a prefect. And then later on, I realized the other prefects also want to bully. So I worked hard and became the head prefect. Okay, so that is the coping mechanism, all right, that I choose to adopt. So, well, I would call it a lot more positive form of coping mechanism. Now, when someone is stressed, okay, they can turn to substance. You know what I'm talking about, all right? Drinking, all right? When it comes to drinking, you have to be very mindful, okay? You have to practice moderation because all alcoholics all began as social drinkers, all right? Likewise for smoking as well. Now, I'm not giving you a moral lecture or whatsoever, all right? Because that's a lifestyle choice. I do respect that, but I want to encourage you, all right, to really observe and be very mindful about certain coping mechanisms you may have unwittingly developed that could be causing, all right, creating other issues in your life. Okay, coping mechanisms when they are not good, all right, it's like a form of escapism. So when you develop good coping mechanism, for example, reading. How many of you read regularly? Besides reading the email from your bosses. Okay, reading is a very powerful habit of success that you and I can practice because within us, we are all limited, all right? When someone writes a book, all right, regardless of what the standard is, they did their best. And there are many, many good books out there because the more you understand, all right, the more you grow within, the stronger you become. And those stress, those negative stress coming upon you, you are better able to manage. So ask yourself, what kind of healthy coping mechanism can you develop? You can run, you can go to take time off, listen to the nature, all right, be involved. Okay, take a quiet walk, it helps you. It is tremendous. This is a form of good coping mechanism, all right? John, I prefer to hang out with friends, we just drink, we don't think about anything, cheers, you know. A friend of mine added me on Facebook to a group called LTP group. I said, what's LTP? Oh, John, Lim Tampo. So all the pictures there are all about drinking. I don't mind because, you know, I like to be involved, to know people from different backgrounds. And in so doing, it gives me a lot of understanding, okay? Then the other self-care approach is this. Don't be caged into the world of those you are helping, all right? When you help a client, by the way, when you know the word help, sometimes I have some issue with that, okay? By right, when we help someone, we don't expect any compensation. But it is wonderful. We are all compensated to help someone. Okay. So when you help someone through counseling, advice, coaching, you find inevitably you are tied to that person during that time. All right? Because you are engaged with that person. And you know, within someone, when someone is going through a period of challenge, they are more inclined to negativity. They have toxic thoughts in their hearts and their mind. And sometimes they will just ventilate on you, okay? And this is where you have to be mindful. Don't be caged by that, okay? And there are some clients that are very good in caging the helper. All right, they actually put a guilt trip on that person. How bad it is, you're not helping me, you're not doing your best. So, like our other speaker was sharing, remember, you are not God. it is not possible to help everybody. Never forget this. There are those you can help. There are those it's okay, you cannot help. And you follow the protocol, the SOPs, etc. You have done your best, and don't feel guilty. Don't feel condemned. Don't say you could have done better. You have let that person down, or the person tell you you are lousy, you are no good, you let me down. How am I going to face my family, etc. Don't be caged by that, because the truth is we cannot be caged. We're not cageable. There's no such English word, by the way. We're meant to soar, like they said, we're eagles. Okay, so be mindful of this. And then you have to deal and displace debilitating thoughts. Now, whether you like it or not, we are all engaged in self-talk. We talk to ourselves. All right, if you talk to yourself in public, make sure it's not loud. Okay, whether it's MRT, you're talking to yourself, you have to be mindful, don't talk loud. Okay? You attract a lot of attention. Now, I want to give you an illustration. You have a jug, I also have a jug. Our family of origin, that we grew up with, has an impact on us. Our childhood experiences have an impact on us. All right? Our experiences with teachers, etc., all right, what they pronounce and say of us have an impact on us. And sometimes certain words take deep root into someone's mind. It impacts that person for the rest of that person unless that person is able to uproot it. So there are a lot of thoughts coming to us that can be deliberating. Because you move exactly in the direction of your thoughts. No two ways about your energy, your battery power goes exactly in the direction of the thoughts because it's still an ongoing app that you did not close. Okay? So many people realize this. Certain thoughts of the past affects them very badly. There's certain triggers and, it happens. Okay? So let's look at this glass is empty, but yet it's not empty because it's filled with air, right? And many people try to overcome certain thoughts this way. Try to get rid of the air this way. It is not possible, so they gave up. In a certain day, when you get up, you're fresh, you have more than enough sleep, you're raring to go, to put in a good day's work, to clear all the backlog, etc. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a thought came to you. You feel upset. Suddenly, that thought becomes so dominant about the offensive word of the person, how you were betrayed, for example. It affects you. Do you know what? Immediately, you watch it, your energy is being drained. So you try to fight the thought like this. Cannot. And the person can end up calling in sick. So, how should we deal with this? Well, we thank Archimedes. All right, he took a bath. Good thing he took a bath. And we understand the Archimedes principle. So, as far as your mind is concerned, you cannot keep it blank. Oh, Dr. John, I can blank out my mind. I'm a yogi. You cannot blank your mind at all. All right? You see three colors: darkness, white, or gray. Why white? You are in front of a very bright window lah. Okay, nobody see a rainbow. It's just like your smartphone. You close the app, but it's running on the background. So there is the subconscious mind. And sometimes you do not know why you're feeling so lousy. You just do not know why. And you are healthy. You are all right. But you need to examine the thoughts. So many people resign to a life of deliberating thoughts affecting them. Okay? So you must think greater thoughts. You displace that way. You think of greater thoughts on a continuous basis. All right? And you have to be very mindful of this. When the thought lay hold of you, this job sucks. Forever these people are like that one. Why must I always clear that? Why must I be the one doing all that? Huh? You have to watch for such thoughts. So much pressure, so little pay, cannot do this, this pay cannot enable do that. What am I doing here? Well, you could be a bit burnt out. Huh? So you have to practice this. And whatever, how you do this is personal. All right? Like our esteemed speaker said also, that she prayed. All right? It works for her. Okay? What was she doing? She's displacing certain thoughts in your mind. So we need to dream bigger. We need to have a dream. All right? Because the dream will cause us to be excited about life. Okay? And along the way, because, before I said that, well, John, can you tell me? I want to enter into a season, no trouble, no issue of life at all. Huh? Very peaceful. Is there a community like this that I can join? Well, there is. There's a community there. All right, it's so peaceful. The skies are blue, the grass is green, the butterflies are fluttering around, and the birds are chirping so beautifully, and they are 6 feet underground. As long as you are alive, it's good to be alive. All right, it is said, all right, a little dog that's alive is better than a dead lion. Okay, so you practice the art of gratitude every day that you are alive. But along the way, things can happen. All right, finding out your loved one did something they're not supposed to do, it can trouble you. All right? Like, well, it is important to put your family first, like our speaker was sharing. I'm just curious. Well, you love your children so much, you spend time. What do you do with your husband? Okay. Okay. All right? So something happened, and this is an illustration. All right? That thought began to permeate your mind. It spreads because you did not compartmentalize your thoughts. All right, hearing what the colleagues say about you behind your back, when you trust the colleague, you confide in something on the colleague, and he was saying, it can affect you. When the appraisal comes, and your boss gives you an appraisal in one area you don't agree with, this is what can happen. And whatever you do and say, it's always tainted. The reason why the child is behaving that way, all right, is because of certain information, certain thought that's dominant inside the child. Okay? And the parent is at the wit's end. Okay? Scold, nag, and what they do is just behavior modification in front of them. Behind, they're still the same. Right? So, it's the same. So, whatever the person do, okay, it comes up this way. Because there's something that is not dealt with. Okay, so what do you do? It's still the same process. You do this. Notice it gets lighter. It gets lighter and lighter and lighter until it is clear again. And today you don't remember anything what I said. When you drink water, remember this. What did John say? Something about water, like pouring, I don't know. Okay, so don't forget this illustration, all right? It is one of the foremost principles I try my best to practice even on a daily basis, okay? Deal and displace debilitating thoughts, toxic thoughts, etc. When someone says something nasty to you, don't take it in. Don't take it in. It is amazing when someone says good things to you, okay. When someone says negative, take it in. A lot of people just take it in. They just take it in. All right, don't take it in. It is all right. Just let it slide. When someone compliments you, take it in. Say thank you. Have the grace to say, don't say, no lah, no lah. Okay, and when someone says negative, yes, yes. And you react strong on that. Okay, we have to develop healthy sleep patterns. Okay, I come back to you during the Q&A, right? You remind me of the question. Okay, so we have to develop healthy sleep patterns. In other words, we need to rest. And sleep is actually a very powerful process of rejuvenation. Okay, a lot of things happen when you are asleep. All right, a lot. Your body begins to heal itself, etc. And the issue is, according to world, well, there's a World Sleep Day. I wonder what it is. On that day, everybody must sleep. World Sleep Day survey shows Singaporeans are sleeping the least. And of all the countries, you know, we in this nation, all right, my Malaysian friends will always tell me, you're so kiasu, always we must be number one in this and that. All right, do you know, well, it is good, all right? We have a lot of accolades given to us in this small little nation. I'm proud of that. But do you know that in the area of sleep, we are number one nation on earth that has the least amount of sleep? Okay, now, realize this. The time you took to rest is not wasted time. It is powerful. It rejuvenates you. There was this CEO of the Indian subcontinental of SAP. You know the company SAP? Okay. And he's a go-getter. He ran the Chennai Marathon, all right? And he will hit the gym every single day. He eat very well. He's very sharp. But there's one thing, all right, that he practiced. He don't believe in sleep. All right, he felt that 4 hours of sleep is more than enough. Okay? So when someone says he has 4 hours of sleep, most likely he will end up lesser than 4 hours. And according to science, all right, an average human being, an adult, need between 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So he violated that. And one day, all right, he went to the gym in his condo, and he was running. When he went home, he suffered a massive cardiac arrest, and he died. Huh? He died. Now, heart attack is, there are many reasons for someone suffering a heart attack. And of course, negative stress, burnout on a consistent basis is one of them. So don't underestimate the power of sleep, all right? And when you sleep, before you sleep, how many will look at your phone, your tablet, all right, you have to stop doing that. Oh, just 10 more minutes. Okay, I'll accelerate. You have to stop doing that, all right? Because the blue light from the phone and the tablet upsets the melatonin, the sleep hormone, all right? And after that, you are going to have you'll take a longer time to fall asleep, okay? And that's why I wear these glasses. There's no degree in them at all. It cuts off the blue light, actually, because blue light has been proven to cause macular degeneration. So you have to protect your sleep. You have to rest. Can you pass me the golf club, please? How many of you play golf? Oh, very good. And I spoke to the group director, Lynn, to help me with this illustration. Let's just give her a round of applause. Show us
And I haven't
how you drive.
for 15 years.
Oh, it's okay. All right, show us, okay, the drive. Okay, pace yourself. Ladies and gentlemen,
Correct, please, all the golfers.
which part of Singapore do you stay in?
West Coast.
West Coast. The all-time champion from West Coast. Silence, please. Look at her focus. Will she win the cup this time round? Okay, show us the swing. Yeah. Look at it go. A hole in one. One more time. This time, slow motion. Yes. Notice, wait. Okay, freeze that. That's a nice pose. Still photograph, please. Very nice. No, continue, please. Thank you. Hold that pose. Okay. You see, notice she pulled back. All right, when she pulled back, notice she was relaxed. All right, that is, all right, similar to when you decide to rest, you are pulling back. And when she releases, it comes with full force, right? So when you don't rest, okay, you're not going to be effective at all. You have to protect your sleep. It is sacred. It is important, okay? Even if you watch those archery competition, they have to pull. So when you rest, you're pulling back. Give a round of applause, please. I have a gift for you for helping this. It's called a first aid kit given by Singapore Emergency Responder Academy so that you can help others. You were telling me you do a lot of mountaineering. Wow, so sporty. So you can carry this with you. I think it's worth $20 over and help others. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please. Okay, so develop healthy sleep patterns. And then, in closing, there are certain breathing techniques that you and I can practice. Many people are not conscious of their breathing. Okay, there's a right way to breathe and a wrong way to breathe. And notice that when you're excited, nervous, and anxious, you breathe quite differently. All right? Correct breathing should be diaphragmatic from your diaphragm, from the stomach. Okay? And when you are anxious or when you're stressed, you tend to breathe just using the upper lungs. In other words, your chest will heave in and out. Notice when you're angry, you, all right? And it actually escalates your anxiety. So learning to breathe and relax is very important. All right, let's do this exercise. Place one hand on your chest and the other hand on your tummy. If you cannot locate your tummy, you can ask your neighbor to help you. Okay, now breathe. You should feel your stomach rising and going down, not your chest. That's the correct way to breathe. When you heave your chest, you are breathing on quite a shallow basis. So it must be from the stomach. Okay, all right? And you keep training yourself until you breathe correctly. I promise you, your stomach will not grow bigger. Okay, it will correct the way you take in deeper breath. So let's say you are a bit stressed out. You can practice some deep breathing. Okay, shall we practice right now? Okay, you inhale, see your stomach, your diaphragm inflating. Now release slowly. Release slowly. Take another breath. Breathe in, then breathe out slowly. Okay. Now when you can't sleep, if you do certain breathing exercise, you can fall asleep quite fast. You want to learn how? Okay, just close your eyes. Just relax right now. Okay, tonight you practice this. Just close your eyes. No problem in the world. Every problem can be resolved. Things will take care of by itself. You have done your best. It's okay. Relax. Now take a deep breath. Breathe in. Now exhale 7 times slowly. So from the one breath, you exhale 7 times. In, out, 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 7 times. Then you do it again. Okay, and you release 7 times. Do a few times. Okay, look up here. How many feel a lot more relaxed? I'm the only one. Tonight you do it. You know why? When you take a deep breath and you say you must exhale 7 times, do you know whatever worries and anxiety you have, you can't think of them? You'll be thinking how to exhale 7 times. It does work. It's been proven to work. So throughout the day, when you feel the pressure, all right, do practice this. And also, back to sleep, just a little bit. And of course, during lunch, in Singapore, it's about 1 hour. Okay, I always wonder why people need 1 hour to eat, you know. All right, of course, there's traveling time, etc. You know, one of the reasons why China is getting so productive is this. When I was in Foshan, Guangzhou, all right, they told me this. It is inbuilt in their culture and training since kindergarten days. They must take a nap just after lunch. It's compulsory. So in every company in China, all right, they let them take a nap. And no, they believe in it so much they extend the lunch hour 1.5 hours. Okay, even you don't have 1.5 hours, you just take a short nap for a few minutes. I promise you, all right, you'll increase your productivity and effectiveness as high as 50%. Okay, practice that, all right? Just 12 minutes, oh, I worry I cannot get up, set an alarm, etc. And you find that there are many sleep pods, all right, in Amazon, in Google, they're already practicing that. And in China, it is a common practice. So if you go and visit them during lunchtime, you have to wait for a long time. Why? They are sleeping. Okay, do practice that. Remember the illustration of the golf club. All right, likewise, it is for tennis. You have to pull back before you come back with full force. With this, I close. Thank you very much for listening. Remember, you may not have a good day, that's good every day. Live long and prosper. Q&A. Okay. So if you on Facebook, you like to connect with me, do connect with me. I like people. All right, you go to John Shepherd Lin. All right, that's my Facebook. Send me a friend request, and I'll definitely say yes. But please, I hope your request, when I look at it, you have a photograph on it. I know who you are. Okay. All right, Q&A right now. Chloe, please.
Thank you, Dr. Lim, for the very insightful sharing. So let's hope that after the talk today, work will feel like a vacation when we return to work on Monday. Yes, so let's look at some of the questions that we have. So, does counseling have to stop after a number of sessions? Is it normal to see a counselor regularly, like once a month, just to talk?
Okay. There's a difference between counseling, seeing a counselor, and seeing a psychiatrist. All right, a psychiatrist is one, all right, who is a trained medical doctor and they specialize in mental health. So they are empowered to dispense psychotic drugs, which has a lot of effects. Okay. So counseling is a process. It is not a one-time event at all whatsoever. Because that person took a long time, a certain period of time, let's say 6 years, 9 years, 3 years, to get into a debilitating issue. It is not possible that within one session, they walk out of it, I'm okay, I'm free from it. All right, it is a process. So you find that at Singapore Counseling Center, all right, people will sign up minimum 6 sessions at least. All right, I have a high-flying executive that I met the other day, and my staff was telling me that this person has bought so many packages, not just for himself, but his family, his children. He has spent more than $10,000. I was surprised to hear that. All right, so it is a not one-time event. So when you see a counselor, the role of the counselor, all right, is to help the client adopt constructive practices. Okay, sometimes we adopt self-destructive practices without us realizing. Okay, constructive practices is very powerful and important. All right, and the purpose of which is so that we can realize our potential. Okay, so the counselor's role is also like a facilitator. It helps the person to stand down certain debilitating thoughts, to mitigate those toxic thoughts that is, paralyzing that person. So we have premarital, marital counseling. Even marital counseling is very powerful. How many of you have been married for more than 20 years? Congratulations. Okay, a survey was done a few years ago among those who have married for more than 20 years, and half of them say they wish they are married to someone else. Sad, huh? But my answer is that if they are married to someone else, the marriage may not last so long. Okay, so anyway, all right, it is a process. So the thing is this, you know, the person you married to 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, is a different person now, and you're also a different person. All right, because your values change, your expectations change, etc. So counseling, all right, we can tailor a package. There is a set of questionnaire, clinically proven, that we can see through the years, which area have you gone out of tangent. All right, you're no more in the same platform. And we tailored a approach for that couple. Has been proven to be quite effective. So counseling is a process. Okay, so it is very, they can start off, they come once a week or twice a week, and later on the counselor will say, well, you did not come every week, you can come once in 2 weeks, and then once a month, eventually, all right, we wean them off. All right, but occasionally they still come back for some tuning, okay? Yes?
So, Dr. Lim, you mentioned that counseling is a process and it's very important, but I think some of us may also fear the stigma that comes with it. So, how do you think we can persuade companies to make counseling services available to staff?
Okay, now, the answer will be through the process of education and understanding. Because being an Asian country among the Asians, there's this mistaken notion. When you see a counselor, there must be something very wrong with you. Okay, it is not true. If someone sees a psychiatrist, it's a different thing altogether. And psychotic drugs are very, very expensive. Those anti-anxiety pills are very, very expensive. When someone hits the stage of clinical depression, counseling can help just very little. Okay, so how do you persuade companies to take counseling? In the Singapore Counseling Center, we have a scheme called the Employee Assistance Program, and we have companies who sign up for it. And this is how it works. When a staff wants going through some issues, okay, and the staff says they want to see a counselor, they are referred to us, and we bill them at the end of the month. Now, we notice that those companies who have signed up, all right, I can go on until midnight. Who have signed up are mainly foreign companies. As far as Singapore companies are concerned, it's a bit slow. All right, because many have yet to see the value of it. So we are also involved in this aspect, all right, of speaking to companies, all right, showing them that they can be greatly helped. I have a friend who works with a local public listed company with a market cap of a few $100 million. And she has been an effective accounts director. But one day, she suffered a breakdown in relationship, okay? The boyfriend she's been seeing for years, all right? And when she go to the place, saw the boyfriend on the bed with someone else, that was so traumatizing. She was so upset, all right? She was no more functional. And the media boss saw that, sent her to the company's psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist straight away issued the drugs, $5,000. Okay? It's a lot of money. Psychiatrists earn a lot. All right, because they create an income. With all due respect to them, when someone is hooked on certain medication, they have to come back again and again and again. I have a friend in business who was hooked to that. He shared with me, all right, when the effects of the drug went off at 4 a.m., he will broke out, he will have a night terror, so it's not. So she was sharing this with me. I said, you come and see my counselor. All right, you only pay $5,000, only $170. See my counselor. After that, she texted me that one session with a counselor is more effective than with the psychiatrist because she's not clinically depressed yet. All right? So it's a process. It's not easy, but it has to do with education. Career versus money. It is always the most difficult question to choose from, how to weigh it. Are you saying career first or money first or what? Huh? I'm trying to get the right framing of the question. Okay. Now the thing is this: money is tied closely to career. Okay. How many of us will still continue in our job if there's no pay? Wow, what pilot? There's one there. Okay. All right. So the thing is this: is closely linked together. Like our esteemed speaker was saying, that she's grateful she has a job because you can get to pay the bills, etc. Okay, so in this particular aspect, you sometimes you're caught in. All right, I want to pursue my passion in this area, to pursue a different career, but the pay is much lesser. All right, this is where you need to make a decision. Let's say I know of several counselors. Once upon a time, they were corporate high flyers. When they decide to change their vocation, all right, they experience a pay cut and they start rebuilding from there. All right, as a professional counselor, after 5 years or so, they can earn a decent living. okay? They are more than able to pay their bills, etc. And above all, they enjoy the job very, very much. So you have to make your decision yourself. And of course, as money increase, don't be quick to raise your standard of living, all right? Always live way below your ability to earn money. It doesn't matter, you know, the neighbors, the alims, the asaings, whatever. Really, it doesn't matter. So again, it has to do with the condition of our heart and our thoughts. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Lim. So I think many of us here work with actually the young adults and students in schools. So are there any tips to counsel the millennials?
Okay, counseling the millennials are quite different. Okay, most of the millennials have, you know the Maslow hierarchy of needs. All right, we have the basic needs, etc. A lot of them has no issue with those basic needs. Straight away, they want self-actualization. Okay, so this is where the challenge is. So, counseling millennials, okay, is quite similar to what we trained in the specialist diploma in counseling of the youth. Okay, and oftentimes, if you are a trained counselor, you will look at the issue as they are itself. And at the same time, counselors, we have several counselors who are involved in counseling with millennials. And it can be quite complex. Okay, the family, okay, parents are working very hard, etc. And they have to exercise a lot more patience. Okay, and try to get them to just speak out and find the root causes of all this. And oftentimes, a lot of millennials felt, number one, they're neglected by the parents. Okay, that is a lot of the common root cause of a lot of challenges that they face. And as far as the parents are concerned, they felt that if they provide well for them, they mix at home, whatever they want to buy, let them buy, they've done their duty. But the needs are still very fundamental. They still want, all right, to be able to communicate, to be loved by the parents, not just the buying those things alone, etc. And you have to tailor the approach relative to that particular millennial.
Okay, so for the interest of time, we'll take in one last question of the day. So, Dr. Lim, which question would you like?
Okay, how do I know if I should be seeing a counselor or a psychiatrist? Okay. All right. If you are deciding whether to see a psychiatrist or counselor, all right, my recommendation is not because I run a counseling center. See a counselor first. The reason being the counselor is trained, all right, whether your issue needs to be referred to a psychiatrist or not. Okay, all counselors know that this person is beyond the process of counseling. Okay, we've referred clients. Okay, we've referred clients to psychiatrists. All right, sometimes they come in a bit late. All right, I remember several years ago, this man brought the wife to be counseled, and it was a bit late. She was very clinically depressed. And our counselor said, do go and see a psychiatrist. She needs to take those medication. She's highly suicidal. Okay, unfortunately, she committed suicide 2 weeks later. All right, once they hit clinical depression, counseling is of little or no help at all. But the counselor actually is trained and is able to make a decision and a recommendation they should be seeing a psychiatrist instead.
Thank you, Dr. Lim, for a very engaging and
Later I
interesting
speak
talk.
with you on that. Okay, I remember. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so can I invite you to remain on stage? Yeah. So thank you very much. So may I also now invite Lynn on stage to present the token of appreciation, please. Lynn, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
It's
for
my-
such an engaging session.
Thank you for
Learned
having
so much
me.
from you. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
all of you agree. This is a very precious session for all of us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Lynn, thank you
Lim.
for having me, and thank you for, sorry. Thank you for your initiative in organizing this. It's precious. Thank you for recognizing the need.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, can we also invite Gina on stage to receive your token of appreciation, please, Gina?
Opening up your life to us, and thanks for letting us know all your secrets and tips.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. May we now invite Christine on stage to receive the token of appreciation.
Christine is our colleague who has great storytelling skills, and she always sets a role model for all of us. So I also look up to her a lot. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Can we also now invite Lynn and the three speakers to stand together to take a group photo? Okay. Thank you, Lynn and the three speakers. Please take a seat. Okay, once again, I would like to thank Dr. Lim and the two career practitioners, Gina and Christine, for your sharing this evening. I believe all of us are able to resonate with the importance of having a healthy mind and a healthy body. From the talk by Dr. Lim and the sharing of Gina and Christine, we learned about the tips to care for ourselves in order to build wellness at our workplace. Please give a round of applause to our speakers and career practitioners who have given their time generously to share with us today. A round of applause, please. Yeah. Before you take your leave, please be reminded to complete the feedback form and return to our colleague at the back of the room. Once again, on behalf of WSG, we thank you for your time and have a good weekend. Dinner is ready and is served outside the event hall. Please help yourselves to the food and, of course, the great company. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.